Hi crafty friends, Shana from ShanoukiArt. This is episode 11 in Art Journal August. Today we're going to create a button closure for our art journal. If you don't have an art journal like mine that needs a button closure, you can create the button as an embellishment for your cover or to use in another project. For my button, I'm using this piece of collage paper that I created. I used my watercolor powder paints to create marks on this piece of encyclopedia paper. I'm now going around each shape with my black fine liner pen. I'm going around twice, very roughly and rustic, creating definition to each mark. You could also use a piece of pretty scrap paper, but you'll need something that'll be the actual button top that'll show in your project. And you'll notice I've used a very different color to the cover of my journal. My journal cover is limes and green, and this is a purpley pink. I love that brilliant contrast. I'm now using my 1.5 inch round punch and I'm punching a circle from my collage paper. This will be the size of my button. If you don't have a punch, that is fine. You can hand cut these out and you can use any size punch you have. We're now going to build a button. I'm using a mixed media paper. You'll need some kind of a cardstock or a heavier weighted paper to create this part. You could use thin copy paper, but you'll just need a lot of layers. So using the round punch I used earlier, I'm going to punch out about 7 or 8 circles. There is no magic number here. You'll put as many as you want, depending how thick you want your button. I want mine pretty thick as I'm going to use it as part of the closure. If it's too flimsy, it'll probably deteriorate over time. I'm then going to punch one more circle from the white paper and I'm going to use this as a template for the positioning of my buttonholes. I'm folding the circle in half and then in half again to create a cross shape so I can get the center point. I'm now going to use my pencil and my ruler to make the marks for the 2 holes for my button. You can make these as close or as far apart as you want. The folds we made earlier help you locate the center of the button so you know where to place your markings. I'm then going to use my small hole punch to punch the holes. If you don't have a small hole punch, you can also just use an awl or some kind of a sharp object to pierce through to make the holes. Once our template is made, we're going to use it to punch holes in all the layers of our button. Remember, you can share all your work from Art Journal August on social media. Please use hashtag Art Journal August or ShanoukiArt. And if you are on Facebook, I would love if you share it in my group, Junk Journal and Mixed Media Tutorials. The link to the group is in the description box below. Once all our holes are punched, we're going to start gluing all our layers together. I'm using my Mod Podge and a paintbrush. I'm applying the Mod Podge on one side of the circle and then applying the other circle on top, aligning my little holes that I've just punched. As the Mod Podge doesn't dry immediately, I do have some time to move the circles around to align the little holes correctly. And then applying the last layer, which of course is the designed paper for the top of my button. If you have a really thin washi tape or ribbon, you could glue that to the edge of the button. I'm going to use a black marker. I'm using a black Posca pen here, just to color in that white bit to give the button some definition. I'm then going to find the position of where my button is going to go on the cover. I'm going to have mine to the right in the middle. I've just sort of measured roughly, and then I'm going to punch through the holes of the button with my awl through the cover so that I can stitch it in. And then using my embroidery thread and an embroidery needle, I'm going to stitch that to the cover. I've gone through quite a few times with the embroidery thread. When I'm done, I'm going to finish that off at the back with a double knot. And then I'm going to wrap my fabric closure around and wrap it around my button. And there is my little art journal closure. I love the way that turned out. I really hope you were inspired to create a button closure for your journal if it fits one, or to create buttons as embellishments for your journals. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Happy creating! I'll see you again soon. Bye!